A seat at the table. The Galactic Academy of Universal Sciences was a marvel of engineering and culture. Its central spire pierced the heavens of Zekthara Prime, a planet whose twin suns bathed the Academy in a perpetual golden glow. Here, the best and brightest from across the galaxy came together to learn, innovate, and compete. Among the vast crowd of towering Zevroks, crystalline Theresians, and the multi-limbed Eshtari, a lone human stood out like a glitch in an otherwise perfect program. That human was Alex Carter, Earth's first ever student at the Academy. At first, Alex's arrival was met with polite indifference, a sentiment that thinly veiled the real opinions of the student body. Humans were classified as prey tier species in the Galactic Predatory Index. To most students, Alex's presence was an anomaly, a token effort at diversity. "I give it 3 days before they drop out," murmured Kareth, a reptilian Darvok, his slitted eyes gleaming with contempt. "3? Generous," snorted another. Alex ignored the whispers, their grip tightening around the small satchel containing Earth snacks, a last connection to home. Their introduction to the Academy had been overwhelming. Alien dialects rang through the air, their cadence a discordant symphony. The smells of unidentifiable foods and occasionally unwashed alien fur mixed with sterile metallic overtones. But none of it mattered. Alex wasn't here to blend in. They were here to prove something. Day 1. The Cleaning Creature Incident. Alex's first day in xenobiology was where the whispers turned into open stares. Professor Thilka, a massive Theresian whose crystalline form shimmered with internal light, introduced them to the Academy's janitorial mascot, a creature known as a schlurk. The schlurk, a gelatinous, multicolored blob, was widely considered harmless and utterly unappetizing. Its primary function was to dissolve waste and clean up biochemical spills. It was a walking, jiggling garbage disposal. To Alex, however, it looked eerily similar to Earth's gelatin-based snacks. The students recoiled as Alex plucked a small chunk of the schlurk's outer layer, carefully avoiding its central nucleus, and popped it into their mouth. Dead silence fell over the room. "What are you doing?" shrieked an Eshtari, their forearms flailing in horror. Alex blinked. "What? It's high in protein." The room erupted into chaos. Kareth whispered something to his companion, his scales visibly bristling. Even Professor Thilka seemed momentarily stunned, their crystalline glow dimming. By the end of the day, Alex had earned the nickname Schlurk Eater, and their reputation as a peculiar, possibly unhinged human began to spread. The first challenge: combat simulations. The Galactic Academy prided itself on its competitive culture, and weekly combat simulations were a key part of the curriculum. These simulated tournaments allowed students to showcase their tactical prowess and physical capabilities in a variety of scenarios. For Alex, this was a chance to turn the tide. In their first simulation, Alex was pitted against the Zevroks, a massive six-limbed creature with chitinous armor and the strength to crush steel. The scenario was a classic capture the flag challenge, and the Zevrok student, Varzul, had already written Alex off as an easy victory. The simulation began, and Alex moved cautiously, their smaller frame weaving through the simulated terrain. Varzul charged with reckless confidence, intent on overwhelming Alex with brute force. But brute force wasn't Alex's game. Using the environment to their advantage, Alex lured Varzul into a narrow canyon where their bulk became a liability. Quick thinking and precise timing allowed Alex to trigger a rock slide, pinning the Zevroks long enough to secure the flag. When the simulation ended, the room was silent once again, but this time it wasn't mockery or shock. It was curiosity. "How did they?" someone murmured. The spark of respect. Over the following weeks, Alex's reputation began to shift. They weren't the strongest or the fastest, but they were undeniably clever. Each simulation showcased their ability to adapt and outthink their opponents, exploiting weaknesses they didn't even realize they had. The Schlurk Eater had become something else entirely, a wild card. As Alex stood in the Academy's central plaza that evening, watching the twin suns dip below the horizon, a small smile tugged at their lips. They weren't just surviving anymore. They were starting to thrive. Unbeknownst to them, Kareth and a small group of students were watching from a distance, their expressions unreadable. Humans, Kareth muttered. Maybe they're not as weak as we thought. The Predator's playground. Alex's growing reputation didn't mean life at the Galactic Academy suddenly became easy. The challenges only escalated as the curriculum intensified, and so did the scrutiny. Every victory Alex achieved brought more eyes, more whispered conversations, and more doubts. If they're so clever, let's see them handle the Predator trials, Varzul sneered one evening, nursing his pride after another loss. The Predator trials were infamous. Designed as both a test of skill and a spectacle, they were the Academy's most demanding competition. Participants were placed in a hostile, simulated environment, pitted against predatory creatures modeled after the galaxy's deadliest hunters. The students weren't expected to win, just survive long enough to be extracted. For most, survival was the only goal. But Alex had other plans. The trial begins. The simulation chamber loomed before Alex, its jagged walls pulsing with the faint glow of embedded sensors. A crowd gathered to watch, murmuring with anticipation. The instructor, a towering Ashtari named Dr. Zelfari, addressed the crowd. The Predator trials are not for the faint of heart. Each participant faces an environment tailored to their weaknesses. Survival will require cunning, adaptability, and composure. Carter, are you prepared? Alex nodded. Ready as I'll ever be. The chamber sealed shut, and the simulation began. The environment was a dense jungle, its trees stretching high into a synthetic sky. The air was thick with humidity, every sound amplified. The rustling of leaves, the chirping of alien insects, the distant growl of something massive. Alex crouched low, scanning their surroundings. A faint movement caught their eye, a flicker of shimmering scales slithering through the underbrush. The Zarks. The Zarks was a legendary predator, feared across the galaxy. Its serpentine body was nearly invisible when still, its venom capable of paralyzing prey within seconds. Worse, it was intelligent, a thinking hunter that could anticipate moves and lay traps. For most students, the Zarks was an unavoidable loss, but Alex wasn't most students. The hunt. The first rule of survival was simple. Don't panic. Alex moved slowly, deliberately, using the terrain to mask their presence. They didn't have claws or venom, but they had their wits. The Zarks was a predator, yes, but it also had patterns, instincts that could be exploited. As they crept through the jungle, Alex began setting traps. A sharpened branch here, a tripline there. These weren't designed to kill, only to slow the Zarks down, disrupt its rhythm, and give Alex an edge. The first encounter came quickly. The Zarks lunged from the shadows, its glistening fangs aimed for Alex's throat. They dived to the side, rolling into a prepared trap. A burst of adhesive foam exploded from a hidden canister, coating the Zarks' head. It hissed in frustration, thrashing as it tried to free itself. Alex didn't wait to see if it worked. They sprinted deeper into the jungle, leaving a trail of false clues behind to confuse the creature. Turning the tables by the third encounter, Alex realized something crucial. The Zarks wasn't just hunting, it was learning. Each trap became less effective as the creature adapted, sidestepping the snares and foam canisters. Alex grinned. You're not the only one who can adapt. They shifted tactics, using themselves as bait. Luring the Zarks into a narrow canyon, Alex climbed a nearby tree and waited. The creature slithered into the canyon, its forked tongue flicking as it searched for its prey. Then Alex triggered their final trap. A weighted net of woven vines dropped from above, pinning the Zarks to the ground. It thrashed violently, but the vines held fast. Alex leapt down, landing just out of reach of its snapping jaws. This is for all the underdogs, Alex muttered before delivering the finishing blow. A sharp strike to its exposed nerve cluster, rendering it unconscious. The aftermath. When the simulation ended, Alex stepped out of the chamber, sweaty and disheveled, but victorious. The crowd erupted in disbelief. No way, someone whispered. They took down a Zarks? Dr. Zelfari's mandibles twitched in astonishment. Impressive. Very impressive. Kareth, watching from the back of the crowd, clenched his claws. For the first time, he felt something other than contempt for the human. He felt fear. A new reputation. The victory against the Zarks was a turning point. Word spread across the academy like wildfire, and Alex became a figure of fascination and intimidation. The nickname Schlurk Eater faded, replaced by something new. The Apex. But Alex knew this wasn't the end. They had proven humanity's potential, yes, but they also painted a target on their back. Every ambitious student at the academy now wanted to challenge them, to prove they were stronger. Standing in their quarters that evening, Alex stared at their reflection in the mirror. Adapt, survive, overcome, they whispered, a mantra that had carried them through every challenge so far. The next day, a message arrived, an invitation to the Academy's grand tournament, a competition reserved for the elite. Alex smiled. Bring it on. The invitation. The grand tournament was the pinnacle of competition at the Galactic Academy of Universal Sciences. It wasn't just a test of skill, it was a spectacle. The galaxy's most influential leaders, scholars, and even military strategists watched the event, seeking prodigies to recruit. For Alex, it was both an opportunity and a trap. The invitation came with a subtle warning. Dr. Zelfari handed it over personally, his mandibles clicking in what Alex recognized as a gesture of unease. You've earned this, he said, his tone measured. But the grand tournament is more than combat simulations. It's a showcase of dominance. You'll be targeted. I've been targeted since I got here, Alex replied, a wry smile tugging at their lips. Dr. Zelfari tilted his head. Perhaps, but remember this. Outthinking predators is one thing. Becoming one is another. The words lingered as Alex prepared. The tournament arena. The tournament's opening ceremony was a spectacle of galactic proportions. The arena was a sprawling holographic construct capable of simulating entire ecosystems. From volcanic wastelands to frozen tundras, every round promised new challenges designed to test every aspect of a competitor's abilities. The competitors were equally diverse. A hulking Vorkesh whose body was encased in biometallic armor. A trio of Theresian siblings whose crystalline forms shimmered with lethal precision. And, of course, Kareth, the Darvok whose hatred for Alex had evolved into an obsessive rivalry. The first round was announced, a free-for-all in a simulated desert, where competitors had to secure resources while avoiding dehydration and hostile fauna. Survival of the fittest, Kareth sneered as he passed Alex in the staging area. Alex didn't respond. They were already scanning the competition, cataloging potential threats and forming a strategy. Round 1, Desert Survival. The simulation began with a blinding flash, and Alex found themselves in a barren wasteland. The air shimmered with heat, and the distant howls of predatory creatures echoed across the dunes. Alex moved quickly, prioritizing water sources and high ground. The first skirmish came within minutes. A Theresian sibling ambushed Alex near a rocky outcrop, their crystalline limbs slicing through the air like blades. But Alex had anticipated this. Using a decoy made of reflective material scavenged from the environment, they distracted the Theresian long enough to strike from behind, disabling their mobility with a well-placed blow to their jointed leg. No hard feelings, Alex muttered as they claimed the Theresian's water supply and disappeared into the dunes. By the end of the round, only half the competitors remained. Alex's resourcefulness had earned them enough supplies to last through to the next stage, but their reputation had also made them a primary target. Round 2. The ice fields. The second round transported the survivors to a frozen tundra, where extreme cold and limited visibility tested their endurance and tactical thinking. Kareth made his move here, ambushing Alex in a narrow ice canyon. His Darvok claws slashed through the icy air, forcing Alex into a defensive position. You've been lucky so far, human, Kareth growled, his breath fogging in the frigid air. But luck runs out. Good thing I don't rely on it, Alex shot back. The fight was brutal. Kareth's strength and durability were overwhelming, but Alex's smaller size and agility allowed them to slip through his attacks, landing precise strikes on weak points. The turning point came when Alex lured Kareth onto a sheet of thin ice. As the Darvok charged, the ice gave way, plunging him into the freezing water below. Alex extended a hand to help him out, a calculated gesture. Kareth hesitated, his pride battling his survival instinct. Finally, he took the hand. "You fight dirty," he muttered, shivering as he climbed onto solid ground. "I fight to win," Alex replied, already moving on. The final round, the Predator's Den. The final round was a mystery. The arena transformed into a dense jungle. But unlike the previous simulations, there were no clear objectives or rules. "The final round is simple," announced Dr. Zelfari, his voice resonating through the arena. "Eliminate your competition. The last one standing is the champion." Alex's mind raced. This wasn't just about combat, it was a psychological game. The Academy wanted to see who could dominate not just physically, but mentally. As the competitors spread out, Alex set to work. Instead of hunting, they laid traps, using the environment to manipulate their opponents. One by one, the others fell, not to direct attacks, but to their own overconfidence and missteps. When it came down to the final two, it was no surprise who stood across from Alex. Kareth. The final battle. The jungle fell silent as the two circled each other. Kareth's eyes burned with determination, but something in his posture had changed. There was no mockery now, no contempt, only respect. "You've proven yourself, human," he said, his claws flexing. "But respect won't save you." Alex smirked. "Neither will brute strength." The fight was relentless, a clash of strategies and raw power. Kareth's strikes were faster, more precise, but Alex anticipated them, using the terrain to stay one step ahead. In the end, it came down to a single moment. Kareth lunged, overextending himself. Alex sidestepped, delivering a calculated strike to his exposed flank. Kareth staggered, falling to one knee. "It's over," Alex said, breathing heavily. Kareth looked up, a grim smile on his face. "It is. For now." Champion of the Academy. The crowd erupted as Alex was declared the champion of the grand tournament. The title came with accolades, prestige, and a new weight of expectations. As Alex stood on the podium, looking out at the gathered students and faculty, they felt a mix of pride and unease. This victory wasn't just theirs, it was humanity's. But they knew the real battle was just beginning. Kareth approached them afterward, his tone grudging but genuine. "You've earned your place, Apex, but don't think this is the end. I'll be waiting for the next challenge." Alex grinned, looking forward to it. The galaxy had taken notice. Humanity was no longer an afterthought, no longer prey. They were a force to be reckoned with. After the tournament, Alex's victory at the grand tournament marked a turning point not just for them, but for humanity's image in the galaxy. The hollow networks buzzed with stories of the apex human, and whispers of Earth's potential began to circulate among the galaxy's most influential circles. For Alex, life didn't get easier after the tournament. With the title of champion came new challenges and new enemies. A call from Earth. One evening, Alex received a message from Earth's representative in the Galactic Union, Ambassador Natalia Cheng. The hologram flickered to life, revealing her sharp features and a tense expression. "Congratulations on your victory, Alex," she began, her tone professional but laced with urgency. "Your performance has made waves across the galaxy, but not all of them are positive." Alex raised an eyebrow. "Let me guess, there are people who don't like the idea of a prey-tier species outsmarting their so-called predators?" Chung nodded. "Precisely. Some factions are questioning Earth's place in the Union. They see your success as a threat. You need to be careful, Alex. Your actions reflect on all of us." Alex leaned back in their chair, the weight of responsibility pressing down on them. "I didn't come here to start a war, Ambassador, but I'm not going to back down either." Chung's expression softened. "Good. Just remember, adaptability has always been humanity's greatest strength. Use it." A new threat. The tension at the Academy was palpable in the weeks following the tournament. While some students approached Alex with respect or curiosity, others grew colder, more hostile. Among them was a faction led by Kareth's older brother, Jalkor, a seasoned Darvok who had recently returned from an off-world campaign. Unlike Kareth, Jalkor didn't see Alex as a rival. He saw them as a problem. You've upset the balance, human, Jalcor said one day, cornering Alex in the Academy's atrium. His voice was low, dangerous. Weak species don't belong at the top. It's unnatural. Alex met his gaze evenly. Funny, I thought strength was about more than just muscles. Jalcor bared his teeth in a predatory grin. We'll see how clever you are when the stakes are real. It wasn't just a threat, it was a promise. The Apex Challenge. Jalcor issued a formal challenge to Alex, a duel in the Academy's most dangerous simulation, the Apex Gauntlet. Unlike the structured rounds of the Grand Tournament, the Gauntlet was a grueling test of endurance, combat, and strategy designed to push participants to their limits. Refusing the challenge would mean forfeiting their title and losing the respect they had fought so hard to earn. Alex didn't hesitate. I accept. Into the Gauntlet. The Apex Gauntlet was unlike anything Alex had faced before. The simulation began in a sprawling urban wasteland, its crumbling skyscrapers teeming with hostile drones and traps. Every decision mattered. One misstep could mean failure or worse. Jalcor pursued Alex relentlessly, his superior strength and combat training making him a constant threat. But Alex knew this wasn't just a physical battle. It was a game of wits. Using their knowledge of the environment, Alex set ambushes, manipulated terrain, and baited Jalcor into overextending himself. Each encounter left them both battered and exhausted, but Alex refused to back down. The final confrontation came atop a crumbling skyscraper, its skeletal frame swaying under their weight. You fought well, human, Jalcor admitted, circling Alex like a predator stalking its prey. But this ends now. Alex smirked, blood trickling from a cut above their eyebrow. You're right. It does. In a move that caught Jalcor off guard, Alex triggered a controlled explosion, severing the supports beneath the Darvok's feet. As Jalcor fell, Alex grabbed a nearby cable and swung to safety, watching as their rival plummeted into the depths of the simulation. The aftermath. When the simulation ended, the crowd erupted in stunned silence, followed by a wave of cheers. Alex had done the impossible again, defeating one of the Academy's most formidable students in a contest designed to break them. Jalcor emerged from the simulation chamber, his expression unreadable. Instead of lashing out, he extended a clawed hand. You've earned this, Apex, he said grudgingly. But don't forget, there's always someone stronger waiting to take your place. Alex shook his hand, their grip firm. Then I'll just have to stay one step ahead. A new era word of Alex's triumph spread beyond the Academy, reaching every corner of the Galactic Union. Humanity was no longer seen as a prey-tier species. They were innovators, survivors, and, most importantly, contenders. Alex continued their studies, but their focus shifted toward uniting the Academy's diverse student body. They formed alliances, shared knowledge, and built bridges between species that had once dismissed each other as competitors. By the time Alex graduated, they weren't just a champion, they were a leader, a symbol of humanity's resilience and ingenuity. Epilogue. Years later, Alex stood aboard Earth's first intergalactic flagship, the Horizon Ascendant, as its captain. The crew was a mix of humans and aliens, a testament to the bonds they had forged at the Academy. As the ship prepared to embark on its maiden voyage into uncharted space, Alex gazed out at the stars, their hearts swelling with pride and determination. Adapt, survive, overcome, they murmured, the mantra that had carried them through every challenge. The galaxy was vast, full of unknown dangers and opportunities, but humanity was ready, and Alex Carter, the apex of the Galactic Academy, was leading the charge.